Hello, good afternoon. It is the end of Sprint 2 on the Economist Drupal publishing framework project that I've been working on. Our mission is to try to make Drupal as user-friendly as possible to the editorial staff at The Economist, who are going to have the pleasure of using it to update economist.com in the very near future. So I want to show you what I've been working on and invite you to give me as much feedback and implementation recommendations as you possibly can. This is a quick walk through, that's the Scrum Master in New York. This is a very quick walkthrough of where I'm at right now. So there's an existing username and password login on theeconomist.com. What will happen is that when we sign into that, it will know who I am basically and what pages I have what kind of editorial rights to. So for the purposes of this demonstration, I am an editorial staff member who has got access to edit this particular business and finance channel page. The idea of the channel index page, is to basically curate a whole bunch of content from all through that particular genre of content that The Economist covers and pull it out onto one place and help give the reader guidance as to what they should be paying attention to. So what you'll notice is this little kind of band comes up here. I don't necessarily recommend this blue, and it'll have a little kind of switch, not necessarily the exact iPhone one, but you can switch that on if you have the correct rights, and then some more information will come up here, a button to save changes, the ability to add new things to the page, and the ability to create and edit different versions, particularly versions for the future that might have some embargoed content or that you might want to put live while you're out chasing stories or doing other things like that. So we are going with trying to edit as much as possible in place approach, which was what the Economist told me originally that they wanted to do, and we went out and did some verification research on that as well to make sure that it wasn't just kind of a crazy idea. And from talking to a bunch of the people who are going to be using this, I was pretty convinced that it is actually going to map to their behaviours really well, and is probably a good approach to take. It's a little bit risky, but we're gonna give it a go. So I asked a bunch of people for some examples of good edit in place interactions, and fortunately I got lots back again. But at the end of the day, it's kind of the usual suspects that are the real sort of source of inspiration, I think. And you can see one of those bits of inspiration here, which is the little editing tab that I borrowed from Basecamp. Thank you, 37 Signals. We're going to refine this a lot as we move forward, probably, particularly in terms of where it's placed, because we don't have the luxury of a completely blank kind of gutter area, but it will do for the time being. Basically, if I select the top item of this news package, and a news package is one lead story and a bunch of related stories together around a particular topic area. If I mouse over the title of this news package, then I get this little tab that allows me either to move it around on the page, to edit it, or to get rid of it completely. We need to work out the logic behind this, and whether or not if I move it into a different position, it kind of changes shape, or whether the logic is that it knows that it's a hero article, a hero package, and so therefore there is only one of them, and so the move shouldn't be displayed. Still working on exactly how that's going to work, but this is kind of the overall framework of it. Then moving through, if I've chosen edit, then I get a little kind of in-place form to be able to do my editing. So I can change the headline copy, I can change the link, I can choose which format I want it to be. Then image editing is actually fairly complex. So I've kind of got just a little holding thing in there. Stay tuned for more on that. And then it goes kind of fairly simply into in-place editing. So I can edit the image caption, I can edit the rubric, which is what they call the short description around here. I can change the location, or sort of edit or get rid of some of the related stories, which is what these refer to. Or I can add related content, and if I add related content, then I start to see this little form here as well. And I can either put in the URL and the link text up here, or I can get some related stories, and the idea is that based on the metadata in the system, it will sort of match keywords, tags that I've got in my lead story, and suggest others that are kind of similar to it. So that's that. Okay, so now we've worked out how we can edit an existing package and move it around on the page, more or less. Now we want to look at actually adding a brand new package to the channel page. And to do this, we go up into our little edit over here, and we can choose package. And if we do that, then again, this is very, very base campy. The page gets pushed down, and we see this little form in place here. And there's a few different formats of packages. These are just a kind of few that I've guessed at, but they're yet to be confirmed. But the idea is I can switch between these different formats, and it will throw up the elements that I need to complete depending on which format I'm doing. And then, pretty similar to what we saw before, we can go and do some kind of edit in place type stuff. So that's more of the same. Okay, so that's creating a brand new one. And then the other thing that I can do is choose from a library. So you can see here from create new, I can save and add that directly to the page, or alternatively I can save it and add to the library. And this is our library here, and just gives us a whole bunch of existing packages that have already been created, the status, so whether they're embargoed, unpublished, published, some sorting tools for date and number of items, and a filtering tool for status, whether it's publication status basically. Well, I'm still working on exactly how many years it's kind of good to have on this page. If it's not already published, then I can select it and add it to the page, and then we'll go back to the editing tools and be able to move things around. Okay, and that's pretty much the end of this little demo. So there's just our ability to oh, hang on, no, that's not true. I've got more. That's right, this is the bloggy chunk. Another little internal word. Basically, it's a little sort of piece of editorial text that can go onto the page. And again, if I mouse over it, I'll get my little tab over here that will let me move it, edit it, or bin it. And if I edit it, then I'll get a little WYSIWYG editor, but I can also do this little switching over to RSS feed. So they want to have the ability to import an RSS feed from another blog, presumably. And if I do that, I can put in the little link. And that is the end of my demo so far. So there we go. Editing, deleting, moving around news packages, different types of news packages, creating new news packages, adding from library, still a whole bunch of stuff to do, but that should give you a sense of the general direction that we're looking at. And I think hopefully in the next week we'll start looking at article pages and see whether the interactions that we've looked at here track over well to article pages and what we learn from that to bring back here again. So yeah, welcome your feedback and welcome your recommendations with regards to implementing this with Drupal, and stay tuned for more.